Welcome everyone, I'm your host Bryce Dolan and this is the Top Intelligence Agency's Review. And today on the show, we take a look at multiple fraudulent schemes uncovered by the FBI. According to the Bureau, federal indictments unsealed on March 1st in Washington, D.C. charged 19 people in the U.S. and abroad with participating in various international fraud and money laundering conspiracies that resulted in the theft of more than $13 million from more than 170 victims, primarily in the United States. Now, 17 of those individuals have been taken into custody, some in the United States and some overseas, but 2 remain at large. The Bureau is working with foreign counterparts to locate and apprehend the 2 fugitives. Now, the investigation began in 2011 when the Bureau's Washington field office received information about abandoned property in a hotel room in Washington, D.C. From that, the FBI was able to link the recovered evidence to a transnational organized crime operation involving an online vehicle fraud scheme. As part of the online vehicle fraud scheme, a network of individuals in Europe allegedly advertised cars for sale on various websites. When car buyers wired the money to the purported sellers' bank accounts in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere, other co-conspirators who had traveled to the United States and opened bank accounts using counterfeit identification documents immediately withdrew the money, laundered it, and then sent it to their associates in Europe. And of course, the buyers never received the vehicles they paid for, but the criminals were able to line their pockets with more than $3 million. 8 defendants were indicted in this particular scheme. Now, according to the Bureau, the investigation into the online vehicle fraud scheme led to the realization that some of the criminals involved in that scheme had branched out to much more lucrative activities. A BEC scheme that resulted in losses of more than $10 million from victim companies. 4 additional defendants were charged in this indictment. Now, we just talked about a BEC scheme, the business email compromise scheme, where the scammers contact employees who have access to the business finances. They trick them into being a legitimate position in power or whatever they are and get them to send them money under the impression that they are legitimately investing in something for the business or buying something for the company. Now, 6 defendants were indicted for operating an unlicensed money transmitting business after investigators followed FBI undercover funds moving through the unlicensed money transmitting network in separate transactions in New York and Los Angeles. And in the 4th indictment, one person was charged with generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in proceeds from various fraud schemes and international money laundering. So these 19 individuals were responsible for millions of dollars of losses through fraudulent schemes online. Focusing on the victims, FBI Washington Field Office Assistant Director in Charge, Andrew Vail, said, "Unfortunately, honest individuals with hard-earned money to spend and enterprising businesses, 2 essential elements in our global marketplace, were the main targets for these criminals. But according to Vail, because of the dedication and perseverance by our law enforcement partners in the U.S. and abroad, the FBI's multi-year investigation into these schemes and this international criminal network has yielded the disruption or return of more than $56 million in victim funds." So although these victims got tricked out of their money, the FBI, by uncovering all of these fraudulent schemes, were able to return more than $56 million in victim funds. So that is some great news and some great work done by the FBI and their abroad counterparts, or their counterparts abroad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to take a look at this case yourself, you can do that by clicking on the link I provided for you below in the description. This whole story goes back to, ladies and gentlemen, research what you're buying online, know what you're buying online, make sure it is legitimate. So be safe, protect yourself, and protect your money. So feel free to take a look at this article. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, give our Facebook pages a like, and follow us on Twitter. But that does it for today's Top Intelligence Agency's Review. I was your host, Bryce Dolan.